Hello, and welcome to First Friday Lunch. Happy NaNo. I don't know how many of you are going to be participating in NaNo, which stands for National Novel Writing Month. It's actually called NaNoWriMo is the full name. I am going to be participating, and I thought I'd talk a little bit about the project that I'm working on, a little bit about how my Preptober went, which was it was an epic fail. So I thought I would talk about those things. And then also I wanted to just kind of tell you what I was going to be working on. So for my NaNo project, I am going to be working on Curse in the Caravan, which is part of this Archangel Revolution series. It has Fae. It's kind of steampunky, probably falls a little more into Gaslamp versus steampunk just because of the Fae elements and the magic elements in it. So the next book is called Curse in the Caravan, and it's going to have my heroine is Emma Flanagan. She's been in the second book. She was an alchemist of Archangel, and she was a friend of the heroine Abigail. It's going to have her as the heroine, and then I'm going to have a new hero, like 1,000-year-old Viking named Halvor. So we'll see how it goes, but that's kind of my project that I've started. If you are interested in participating in NaNo, you can go to the website, which is nanowrimo.org, and you can register your project. Technically it starts on the 1st. I'm a rebel because I'd already written like 3,000 words for the first chapter. So I'm a rebel. I started early because when I put Alchemist of Archangel out into print, boy, that was hard to say. It was a tongue twister if there ever was one. When I put that one out into print, I wanted to have the first chapter of the next book, which is this one. So I had already put out a rough draft of the first chapter. So I'd had that piece of it done, but I wanted to work on this in the month of November to try and give myself as much time to work on this book before I went back into the Regency series. I had hoped to finish Wind Resistant, and I'll show you some tricks that I came up with to try and make myself do that work as we get into tools in the later part of this presentation. And I was hoping to finish that, but for whatever reason, October worked against us. As a matter of fact, we ended up closing the cabin up on November 1st, and that included pulling the dock out and as well as our pontoon lift in the snow, which is luckily the water wasn't frozen yet, but that's you pull them out in this part of the world so that the ice doesn't break them up as it will do or move them depending on but basically you're just doing it to prevent damage. You could leave them in. I think some of our neighbors will because we saw 2 docks still in the water. But anyway, so we had a lot of stuff we were trying to wrap up on the cabin, like get a roof put on it. We were putting siding on it. We were kind of doing all these fix-it things so that we can work on not funner projects, but more of the outdoor and the landscaping and those sorts of things next year, as well as finishing up the interior. So we were pretty busy in the month of August. I also had I had a couple book signings. I had ValleyCon. So October tends to be kind of a busy month for us anyway. So I don't know where I thought I was going to, but I should have been able to write 5,000 words, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what my process is normally. So normally I get up and I will do just kind of start my day. I'll get up, I'll make my bed. I will, maybe take a shower. Depends on how my sinuses are doing for the day. I'll do that. I also draw an oracle card for the day to kind of help set the tone or the one I've been drawing the most lately is I keep drawing friends and family, which is okay, this is interesting to me that's I've drawn it probably 5 times in the last 2 weeks. So I'll do that. And then I will, start my day. So then when I actually get to the point where I'm going to write, the first thing I will do is I do what are called morning pages. And this doesn't matter if I'm actually writing in the morning. This is something put out in The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. And so I will do the morning pages in this journal here is the journal I'm using right now. So I'll go ahead and do morning pages, and I'll do it before I start writing. It's the very first thing I do, whether I start writing at 10 o'clock in the morning or 1 o'clock in the afternoon or 9 p.m. at night. I will go ahead and do morning pages to kind of get the junk out of my head. Some people's morning pages are very profound and prophetic. Is that the word I want to use? I don't think so. Anyway, some people have really like insightful morning pages, and I feel dumb sometimes because mine are just, today I went for a walk and the dogs were good outside and it rained, and so I'll do stuff like that, which doesn't seem like it's a lot, whereas some people like really dig deep into themselves, and I have never really done that. I've even put lists in here, like grocery lists and stuff, but it's just something that I need to do to just kind of clear my head. That's usually what it is for me, is clearing my head. And it's 3 long hand pages, and it's in a basic notebook. And I've always used smaller ones because it's kind of, like I said, I don't ever think I have anything special to say. So I'll just go ahead and clear my head. So that's the first thing I'll do, is I will go ahead and do that and take care of my morning pages. And then the next thing I do is I will take care of business. And this is, I set a timer for 25 minutes. And what I do is I go ahead and I go through all my email, and I'll go through Facebook Messenger on my computer, because now that we're in the off season, I don't keep it on my phone. So I sometimes have people that need to get into contact with me. I'm in a couple groups, and they use the message system, which to me is, it's okay, but you lose stuff if you don't go in there every day, which I don't anyway. So I'm not always on my computer. So I will be a lot this month just because, but I will probably take care of the business, like, see what needs to be responded to. A lot of it, and this is probably true for a lot of people in there, a lot of it is just cleaning up my email, just going through and deleting stuff. So I'll go ahead and do that, take care of that, start and check Facebook, LinkedIn, all my social media accounts, and see if I have to update anything, wish people happy birthday, all that kind of stuff. So that usually takes 25 minutes or less. If I don't do it in 25 minutes, if the timer goes off, I kind of just stop what I'm doing. Like I have an order in which I do them, and I'm like, okay, that's just going to have to wait until I find time after writing today. So that's usually what I'll do with that. And then let's see, have I down too far? Okay, so then what I'll do is I will go ahead and work on my curtain project. And this might be edits if I'm doing edits. Obviously, this month it's going to be Curse in the Caravan, and I will be working on that project pretty much until it's done. I have some mile markers. I have like a Kanban board back here. And one of the things that I had done was I had set out those milestones, like the 1,000 words, 5,000, and then every 5,000 words, I'm kind of giving myself a reward. Well, one of the rewards is actually to work on my Regency and get that prepped. That's actually a reward later on. So I'm like trying to table it and not work on it until I get closer to the end. I think at like 35 or 40,000 words, I get to start playing with that project and taking care of some stuff. So I'm not stuck doing it all in November or in December, which tends to be a quiet month for me anyway. So you'd think I'd go back. I might go back and work on wind resistant just so I can get it done, because I did do some writing on that, and I think I'm at a space where I can probably wrap up some scenes. So we'll see how that goes. So some of the tools, I'm going to talk a little bit about the tools that I use when I'm working in a project, like how my writing process works. The first thing I always have is I always have a notebook for every project. This is a small one, and that's about right for me because I don't fill a lot. Sometimes I will take, like in this project where it's a series, I might take information from the last book, but a lot of it ends up being referenced, like names, dates. I'll do a profile for each character. Some of the things that I do is I will basically I name the characters and then I will generate a birth date for them. There's like a random birth date generator that I have in my tools or things that I use on my computer or whatever. It's in my saved items. And so it'll generate a birth date for me. And I always pick the year because I know how old the character is and I know what time frame we're working in. So I always pick the year, but I'll take the date and then I'll pick out their astrological sign and find some information out about them. I will do a numerology. I love numerology. So I will plot the numerology of their name and find out what their numerological number is. I'll do that. The other thing, there's a book I basically use, like if somebody's a Scorpio and somebody's a Gemini, I will look and see, okay, what kind of conflicts are they going to come up with to kind of help brainstorm. I could have done all this in October, but I find that I can sometimes write a good chunk and then I go back and do this part of the process because that's what works for me. So, and sometimes when I'm doing the process, I want to write anyway because I want to get information down on the page and stuff like that. And I'll show you how that works a little bit. So those are kind of the first steps. And that's the kind of information that I'll put in the notebook so that I have quick and easy reference to it. I also make a Pinterest page for them so that I have pictures and mood boards and those sorts of things to kind of help me. And I don't usually do any of this stuff unless I'm blocked. Like I do the notebook part, but like the Pinterest, I'll usually wait until I'm like, well, what does that castle look like? And I'll start going through and looking and seeing if I can find pictures of it and stuff like that. And I'll set that mood board. As a matter of fact, in NaNo, they ask you if you have a Pinterest board for your project. And you can put that in there. So there's a lot of information you can put in that NaNo project or whatever. So that's kind of interesting. So the first thing I always have is a notebook, and then I will write things. Sometimes if I'm writing one scene, but I get an idea for another scene, I'll write it in here and put like this scene needs this or whatever. So I use an outline that was developed by C.S. Lakin. This is her website. If you go to her website, which is www.liverightthrive.com, and you go to the resources tab, you will be able to find, sorry, and I'm not sure why my puppy is upset. You'll be able to find the free templates that she has. And I use I guess she's expanded it to 20, but I use the 12 key scenes in a romance as like one of her original ones, I believe. And I use that to go ahead and plot. And I literally take for each scene, it's a page header, and I will go ahead and use that and go ahead and get that sorted out that way so that I have like the page header and then what it is and what that scene needs to be so that I have like it populates. So if you get to a scene like they have to have a big fight, I think that's one of them too, fight or some climax scene or something like that. And she kind of lists like the things that it could be. And so I'll put down, they have a fight, and that's kind of my thing. And so that actually helps me get words too, because then I can kind of loosely plot these things. So it'll get me closer to the 50,000 words at the end, even though, once again, we said I'm a rebel. So if you're not writing 50,000 words, or if you want to finish a big project, you could totally do the rebel portion of it. And it's got other things that you can, so resources on that NaNo web page that you can use. So those are some of the things. And like I said, if I get blocked while I'm doing these scenes, then one of the things that I will do is I will go ahead and one of the things I'll do is I will maybe write longhand in the notebook. So I might write the scene out in the notebook if I'm having problems visualizing it. And I just recently discovered this website called forthewords.com. If you like gaming, this might be a very cool thing because it is, you write so many words and you get prizes. Like you get a character and then you can get like different hairstyles or clothes and there's like these little adventures and monsters that you battle and stuff like that. But it's all in the writing of the words, which is really kind of cool. So I tried this to try and finish up Wind Resistant in October. And I'm like, I really like this. I don't know if I will write it in all the time because you can cut and paste. Like you could write in your normal software and paste the words in there, or you could write in there and paste them over to, I used Google Docs, so I tried that and that worked really well. So if it's just like a blocking issue, this might be a fun way to do it, because you can either do it by words or by time or both. And that's kind of how you battle a monster, is write for so long or write so many words and or both, and then you defeat the monster and you get a prize basically. So it's actually quite, if you like the Forest app, if you use the Forest app, which I never used the paid for one, so I didn't have as many options on the Forest app until I spent a lot of time in there. If you like that, you might like this, especially if you like games and stuff like that. So that is basically my process. I will, we are going to have, I didn't write down the thing for next Friday. Our next Friday lunch, where is my, hold on, I'm going to grab my calendar. Right here, right here. Okay, huge calendar. All right. So our next Friday lunch is going to be December 1st. Wow, the first day of December. So our next Friday lunch is going to be December 1st at 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. And we're going to talk about writing through the holidays, like we kind of do every year. And so what does that look like for you? So go ahead and pencil me in for lunch. I don't know why it's taking so long.